And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. Maybe. It's Tuesday, January 20th, 2026. Hope you had a good 3-day weekend. As in my world, it became a very eventful 3-day weekend. And as always, we will cover it. In case you don't know, this is serious talk on everything that affects you. The markets, the economy, your job, your industry, everything that matters. The Morlocks in D.C. and the never-ending news-driven Trump mania. Sometimes to the good, sometimes to the bad. We'll get into that. If you do not get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. And if you don't follow us on X, you should just put our name in. If you'd like to email us, just be nice. By the way, also the BizTV YouTube channel, as well as other podcast apps. So where do we want to start? Well, we were 4-0 last week in football. We're 3-1 this week in football, so we're 7-1. How's that? We told you. I had people email me telling me I was full of crap, and they used a different word. We've given out Super Bowl since 2000. I think we've lost 4 or 5. We were averaging in the mid to high 70s, if not low 80s, in the playoffs, and we stopped doing it for a while. I don't know why. We just did. I decided to do it again this year. 7-1. We would have gone 8-1 if I didn't realize that I could not give out the Miami-Indiana game because we didn't do a live show yesterday. Our bet in Miami-Indiana was the over. It was 47. It came in at 48. And let me be clear about that. I fell asleep with 9 minutes to go in the game. There was no way I thought it was going to be an over. And I get a message from my son before the game's over. I hear the phone go off. 48 points. I'm like, what? I look at the TV, which wasn't off. They were at 48. So we'd have been 8-1, but for you, 7-1. But you know how crazy football is? We should have lost the Denver-Buffalo game. Let's be clear. Buffalo won that game. The refs screwed Buffalo. It was almost as obvious as the New Orleans when the wide receiver was knocked down like 10 minutes before the ball got to him and they didn't call pass interference a few years ago. And also, we should have lost that, but we should have won the Chicago. We won the game. The Chicago over. They were at the 10-yard line how many times and couldn't run it in? Anyway, 7-1. We'll have 2 games in the AFC and the NFC Championship this coming weekend. We'll do those. And then we'll have the Super Bowl. So the worst we can be is 7-4, but we don't plan on losing. And I get asked in the past, how do we do this? We just have a knack. Sometimes it's the line movements. Just so you know, whenever you see a football line go from like 8 to 5, that means everybody is betting on the one side, go the other side. Do you know why? Because gamblers lose. It's just the nature of the beast. So you just go against the masses. It's not 100%. Nothing's ever 100%. But how many times have I done this show where we gave you one because of that and it came in? Anyway, 7-1. We'll start with that. Oh, yeah. Trump. So look. I have got very good at not blasting him. So I'm just going to say it the way, with as much respect as possible for the presidency. We're not going to get into the things that really upset me. like his family making bazillions off of decisions out of D.C. But here we go again. And if I had the president's ear, I love saying it that way. If I was able to visit him at the White House, in the Oval Office, in front of the Resolute desk, or in Mar-a-Lago, or on a golf course, because I love his golf courses, I would say, Mr. President, listen to me carefully. I know you're a billionaire. I know you've been very successful, measured by not only money, this beautiful Mar-a-Lago, winning the presidency not just once but twice, when you had the media 110% against you. You've built great golf courses, structures, and yeah, you've had some missteps and they blast you about bankruptcies, but I got to tell you, most big businessmen have had troubles every now and then. But Mr. President, you're no longer playing with chandeliers at one of your hotels. You're no longer playing with how to set up a golf course. You're playing with Americans' lives. And you can talk blue in the face about how the great things you have done. You crashed the market once with your Liberation Day tariffs and the massive uncertainty. And you can tell people that, you made the decision. No, you were forced to make the decision to get rid of the Liberation Day tariffs because you were crashing the markets and the economy and commerce was going to stop. Why are you doing it again? You said the tariffs were for just trade. Now you're putting into geopolitical crap. Why? Why? Do you realize markets are fragile? Do you realize the economy? The economy is based on people. And if people can't make decisions, if people are afraid to make decisions, if people worry about uncertainty, there's a fine line on the markets and the economy. Oh, and by the way, you have an election this November where the Marxist Party more than likely wins, but you're guaranteeing it. And you're guaranteeing from day one they're going to impeach your ass. Yet now you put on more tariffs on all of Europe because they disagree with you? What happened to your great negotiating tactics? This is a tactic? No, it isn't. How about meeting with them? You were going to meet with them anyway in Davos. Why you put on tariffs? Meet with them. Sit down with them. Explain to them. Stop threatening them. In case you don't know, these people lead countries. I can guarantee you they have egos also. And I guarantee you they are cursing you out right now while trying to be as diplomatic as possible out front. You're again creating uncertainty. You're again creating worry. And I can tell you from my little sampling, there's a lot of people that voted for you that are pissed off at you. Thank you for your time, Mr. President. I hope you make the right decisions. So you can read all the news, threaten more tariffs, over Nobel Peace Prize, over something Greenland, where, by the way, I know as fact, the whole Republican Party is losing it right now over this Greenland thing. You may have a couple of them going on TV. Yeah. They're all losing it. Do you know why? They have elections also. Now, I don't know exactly what the cause and effect was, because I think there are two things going on. But the Dow dropped to 870 today, the NASDAQ 561, the NASDAQ 100 541. We'll expound up next on Investor's Edge. And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. How about that for some respectfulness in me speaking to the president? I believe he's got it all wrong. I believe, as usual, he is embellishing the need for Greenland. I believe he is making it up. I don't know why he is making it up. We already have access to all of Greenland in any way, shape, or form we want. I'm sometimes I sit and I try to read somebody and their motives. I have no clue what the motives are. It makes absolutely zero sense to die on this hill. And now he's going to Davos with the mucky mucks. Most of them I cannot stand. They've been telling us about climate change for years while they fly in on their private jets. These clowns that are billionaires, by the way. He does a speech tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. God only knows what's going to come out of his mouth at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow. We'll see. But I am in complete disappointment of how he is handling his presidency right now. I would tell him that to his face. Hopefully he would not have the IRS audit me. But just complete disappointment. Do I think these tariffs will ever be put into use? I doubt it. What is it, 10%? Europe, all these countries, that starts February 1st. And then if nothing gets, and by the way, this is just for backing Greenland. If you're not with me on Greenland, this is insanity. It's really insanity. He's having fits over the Nobel Peace Prize. He's blasting Norway. Norway. How dare they not give me the Nobel Peace Prize? Even though it is not Norway that gives it. It's some whatever at Norway. So I don't know what to tell you. Some of his decisions are scaring me because I believe there's too many decisions. I would love him to take a step back and just take a pause. He worries me right now. And I just watched today him do over an hour of this is our first year and how great we are. And there were just a crap load of embellishments in there. I wish him well. I hope for his success. But it's getting a little bit on the crazy side out there. If you ask me. Or if you care what I think. Do not forget, we have no agenda, no bias, no ulterior motive. We are not an R. We are not a D. I guess you can call us an I that is fed up with most all of government. 39 trillion of debt says so, amongst the corruption also. And the president and his family are making zillions of dollars off of the government right now. We blasted Biden on that, so we have to blast this president also. Why? Somebody's got to. We'll keep it above board as much as possible. Tomorrow's another day. Do I have any guess on whether he's going to go to Davos and, we're not going to do any tariffs, and the down 870 Dow points gets erased? I don't know. I don't know. I wish I did. And that's a little bit of that. What else? Well, we said to you there were a couple of things. We mentioned this last week. It worsened today. The 10-year yield jumped above 4.2% and closed above it for the first time in a while on Friday. It was up 0.64 today to 4.295, nearing 4.3. The last 2 days is a technical breakout to the upside on 10-year yield, and as you know, we think the 10-year yield is of quite the import. It is mortgages, it is loans, but it's also, one has to ask the question, you have an easing Fed, short-term rates, a president that wants 1% Fed funds rates, easier, yet the market is saying otherwise. And what have we told you in the past? If interest rates keep going up while they keep going down, that is them arguing with the market, and you know who usually wins? The market. Remember, these are the same things we were talking about with Biden and Powell. Dudes, you're saying there's no inflation. It's transitory when it shows up. And don't worry, yet the market is saying otherwise, and you're doing nothing about it. Well, guess what happened? 9% inflation, had to play catch-up big time, caused a good bear market. And the only thing Powell and Biden had going for them, as usual, is us. And that's what this president has going from us. Don't screw it up. And right now, the bond market's worried. And right now, we're going to be paying mucho attention to it. Because the bond market is much more important than what the Fed does and what the president thinks. No, not many listen to me. I'm a Fox News business contributor, and these words get lost with so many others. But the market is a lot smarter than these politicos and the Fed. And if they don't listen to the market, if the 10-year yield keeps going higher, that's trouble. And we nailed it the first time. For you, I can promise you we'll nail it again if the 10-year yield keeps going higher. Bad day today, and I have to think that was part of today. Up next, what else? Few other things stuck out today. This is the one only Investor's Edge. By the way, I forgot to mention one other thing. The president is still out saying that he won the election in 20. I can't begin to tell you how many votes they're going to lose in the midterm just off of that. Just letting you know. And let me repeat, I got no bias. I want good things to happen. That's all. I just want good things to happen. Real quickly, Netflix in a brutal bear market. That stock guides earnings per share below consensus and revenues below consensus. Downside guidance. The stock, which just did a 10 for, what did it do? 10 for 1? 1 for 10. No, 10 for 1. Closed at 87 and a quarter. I got it at 83.68 in the aftermarket. Stock is down from 134 back in June. We got our sell signal on the stock on initial sell signal was right off the high, but the real one was on July 18th at 122. It's under 84 right now. And of course, that can change overnight. I'm looking at I can't see subscribers on here. I actually haven't seen it yet. Supposedly that's the big thing. Engagement remains healthy, revenue growth, blah, blah, blah. They did 56 cents a share, expecting 55. 56 was against 43. So 13. So earnings were up, that's fine, but expected, but they lowered. They lowered. I've always said, I've always been amazed. All these, the DirecTV, Hulu, Paramount, Peacock, all these, there is so much competition for our eyes. How did they all stay on top of this stuff? Anyway, not a good day. United Airlines, I got that up about $5 in the aftermarket. They beat. And that's all I got so far. Financials. What have we told you? Financials. They've been strong, except when we got into earnings. Bank of America didn't act well. Citigroup didn't act well. JP Morgan didn't act well. And Wells Fargo didn't act well. What acted well on earnings was Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, Bank of New York. They had a rough day today. Rough day. Why? Duh. When you're down 870 Dow points, the financials are going to have a tough day. And other financials got hit, and you know which ones those were. You know there's this whole credit card thing going on that hit them last week. And I can tell you that American Express was down another $13 today. That's in the Dow. Capital One down 10.5. To 228, MasterCard 7, Synchrony Financial 4, Visa's only down $3. That's not so bad, but just a rough day for the financials also, and that'll be something to watch. And of course, if interest rates keep going higher, not so sure the housing stocks will go up more. And as you know, there was Washington, D.C. news on housing stocks, the mortgages. They're buying $200 billion of this, that, and the other thing of mortgage backs. So guess what had a rough day today? The housing stocks. So overall, rough day. And on a day like today, you ready? 1,012 stocks were up. On the New York, 3,566 were down on the New York. On the NASDAQ, 1,219 up, 3,445 were down. What else? What else? The MAG 7 that we call the MAG 8 is the lag 8, except for Google, which also got hit today. Apple down $9 today, was down over 11. Broadcom 18, Amazon 8, Microsoft 5, Meta 14, Netflix, as you know, Nvidia, down 8 and rolling over badly, kids. Qualcomm 6, Tesla 18. The MAG 8 is the lag 8. And what have we been telling you to do with these stocks? That is correct. We have told you to avoid them. And they're worsening by the day, and today was a really bad day for them. And I am really wondering what is going on with Apple, because not only did it drop almost $9 today before bouncing $2 into the close, but there was volume. Those are institutions saying, we got too much Apple. So I'd like to know what's going on there right now, considering we're told GDP is 5%, all this wealth, all this, all that, all this, all that. And in the semis, they got Broadcom today for $19 today. They got Amazon, as we said, for $8. And that's rolled over badly. By the way, they report next week. Microsoft's under the 200-day. Meta's under the 200-day. And Tesla breaks support today. So not good. But we're not done. The crypto. Well, we always have to say to you when we mention crypto, you're welcome, because we've been telling you to avoid MicroStrategy for like 250, 300 points. They had a bad day. They were trying. They were a little off the lows, trying to build a higher low, a little stair step. Oh, they fell through the stair step today. And remain not great, in spite of what they tell us. But on the upside, frickin' gold and silver gap up on all this strife. SanDisk, this whole thing about price and storage and all that. Micron was up 4 today with the Dow down 870 and the NASDAQ down 561. SanDisk was up 40 today. The one with leverage. Western Digital was up. Seagate was down 5 cents. Wow. Now the semis, because KLA, they hit the equipment makers. KLA for $78. It is a $1,500 stock. ASML for $32. That's a $1,300 stock. So they got a few. But mixed. Taiwan Semi down $15. Just so weird. It was a weird day, ladies and gentlemen. We've kept it very low beta-ish. Today was a good day to be very low beta-ish. And software stocks. Bear market, kids. Bear market. Don't argue. Software's in a bear market. They better not get the semis meaningfully and the AI stocks. Why? The NASDAQ and NASDAQ 100 cleanly broke the 50-day moving average today. Hope you are paying attention. Today was an icky day in price, and in some cases, a decent amount of cases, technicals, tops. If anything changes, we'll let you know. By the way, we would love to tell you gold and silver so extended, be careful here. I would have said that last Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, and Monday. So we're going to make no comment. But wow! And by the way, silver, the latest breakout has it going up 60 some odd % in 7 weeks. Up next, we'll finish it off. This is the one only Investor's Edge. So, you know, I love success stories. I love success stories. So this past weekend, I went down to South Florida. We had a little ceremony with some buddies because I won the Couch Potato Football League championships, as you know. And we met at Joe Stonecramp's. I gotta tell you something. What a fantastic restaurant. number one, I think they're top 5 in sales in the world or in the country. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they're right about there. But just a well-oiled machine. You could just tell. When I go into these places, I don't just eat. I watch. And man, oh man, impressed as impressed can be. The place was packed during lunch. During lunch. On a Saturday. Or was it Sunday? I don't even remember. And you can just see how chaotic and hectic it looked, but they were right on their game. Well done, Joe's. And by the way, fantastic. Best hash browns I've ever had. And they're known for stone crabs, right? Most people don't know. They got like the best fried chicken you'd ever have. And they give you like a whole half for $8.95. So just letting you know. Quite amazing. Quite amazing. Had a blast. And I also stayed at a Residence Inn. Marriott. And I have to tell you, they're up in their games, all these, that's not a Four Seasons or a Ritz-Carlton or an Aman. I stayed at a Residence Inn, and they had a breakfast buffet. It was like almost as good as a Four Seasons. The companies are really getting it. Something I'll remember. That's what you got to do. Make them remember you in a good way. Just takes effort. Just takes effort. Which gets me to Junior Bridgman. I promise you guys, there's a thing on Instagram called Visionary Minds. And we did it a few times and then we stopped. Let's talk. From NBA bench warmer to billionaire franchise king, Junior Bridgman didn't dominate the court. He dominated the business world. Here's how he became one of the richest athletes in history. No max contracts, no shoe deal. Just a reliable six-man earning $350,000 a year at his peak. How much do they make now, by the way? After 12 seasons, his total NBA earnings were $4.2 million, barely life-changing once taxes, expenses, and lifestyle were accounted for. He knew the money wouldn't last, so what will I own when basketball ends, he asked. He grabbed an opportunity, a Wendy's in Brooklyn, investing $150,000 with Coach Paul Silas. It failed. They didn't understand the restaurant business, and the entire investment vanished, but instead of quitting, he pivoted. He went straight to Wendy's, signed up for their full training program. He learned everything from flipping burgers, cleaning equipment, staff scheduling. He was a student. He put his remaining $750 into 5 struggling Wendy's stores in Milwaukee. They were averaging just $600,000 in revenue each. He rolled up his sleeves, worked the grill, took drive-through orders, did everything. Within 2 years, those failing stores exploded to $2 million per location. 5 stores became 16. 16 became dozens more in many other cities. His formula was simple. Learn the system, improve the system, scale the system. By 2015, get this. Owned 275 Wendy's, 125 Chili's, 18,000 employees, 520 total locations, doing $500 million in annual sales. He became the second largest franchise operator in America. He then sold everything. He exited the restaurant business for $250 million. Why? He saw market saturation ahead and left before the margins collapsed. That's what great operators do. Exit strong, not stressed. A year later, he made his boldest move. He bought Heartland Coca-Cola for $290 million. Now that brings in $1 billion in annual revenue, turning him into a billionaire with an estimated net worth of $1.4 billion. I love stories like that. Go read up about him. Junior Bridgman. We will do more of these visionary mind stories of people that came out of nowhere and built monstrous business with hard work, sweat, toil, ingenuity, mistakes, failures, successes, you name it. But in the end, they persevered. And I thought I started with that one because, you all like sports, right? Junior Bridgman. I think tomorrow we'll do Haagen-Dazs. Do you know Haagen-Dazs isn't Danish, by the way? It's not even European. But they sure do make good stuff. By the way, speaking of Haagen-Dazs, I got to mention something. You ever hear Sprinkles? Like the greatest cupcakes ever. It was bought out by private equity, and they just shut them down. You ever have a Sprinkles cupcake? They're like the best ever. They had one in Disney Springs. First one I ever had was, I think, in Beverly Hills, California with my kids. They just shut them all down. Private equity. Hopefully the first owner, the real owner, takes them over again and brings it back up. Because everybody loves a good cupcake, right? This weekend, Sunday, 2 games heading into the Super Bowl. We'll be ready for them. As we said, we're 7-1. We weren't kidding. New England at Denver, Rams against Seattle, Denver without their quarterback. Will be an interesting weekend. You all have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Make sure you hug your family and hug your children. They will feel better. You'll feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. Thanks for joining. Until tomorrow. Good night.